I'm Julian Grant. Welcome to RoboCop Prime Directives.
I serve Delta City. I protect its citizens. I uphold the law.
You're a man. You're not a machine. You're a cop. No!
The original motion picture, RoboCop by Paul Verhoeven, was a wonderful picture. And that's really where we started off when we were writing the scripts for this. Both Brad, Joe, and myself felt that that was probably the very best of a lot of the films, because there were 2 other films plus the TV series. Its dark, sardonic wit, its satire of American consumer culture was all very akin to sort of our sensibilities. And in RoboCop Prime Directives, what we tried to do was to go 10 years after the first picture, ignoring the TV show and ignoring the other 2 movies, and making a very dark and desperate vision of a world gone mad.
Murphy!
Being the guy, and he's got a lot of emotional things. He's now 10 years older. He's been sitting in his own little room for a long, long time until he's needed.
You are under arrest.
Paige Fletcher is a phenomenal actor, and the great thing about the work that he's done in the past and where we're going to now is he has an insight to the mindset of Alex Murphy like nobody else.
Forward.
And I think it's really a credit, to him in that he so quickly embodied this skin and put it on and made it his own.
Someone walks through the door and says, "We need you," and he gets up and he goes and he does his job, and he does it to the best of his ability.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Yeah, well, what we tried to do here was fill in some of the gaps and figure out why Alex Murphy ended up going to, the police station that he ended up going to, and his interrelationship with John Cable, his ex-partner.
This is a game of strategy, observation, and patience. And right now, mine is wearing very thin.
In terms of the character of John T. Cable, I think John T. Cable has got a head like a bullet. Because, as written, he's what they call zero tolerance, no bullshit super cop. And he's like an old gunslinger. He carries 2 automatic pistols.
I think he's certainly a new breed of hero, and certainly a complex figure.
Alex, the questions you asked. You came to me, remember? Remember?
Are you really gonna kill me? Alex.
I think we did a pretty good job in definitely bringing the script to life. We cast very well with Paige Fletcher, Maurice et al. And we were able to really, I think, bring to the screen a RoboCop that nobody's ever seen before.
When they first made me, when they brought me back, I thought that it was for some reason.
I mean, in the past, he'd drive around in his car, he'd shoot a few people. I mean, we've got Robo and Cable jumping through windows, smashing up any number of vehicles, taking on hundreds of adversaries, some as fantastic as themselves, and blew the living shit out of everything he possibly could.
Derek will be ready with the usual assortment of bloodied limbs and kidneys and intestines that I might lob at any one of you at any given time.
Then Richard will walk forward. There will be no poof on this. We will apply a poof, which sets off the explosion over there.
When I hit you with the gunfire, and you turned around, the first thing you shoot at me is the rocket, right?
Yes. I'm Richard Fitzpatrick. I'm playing Bone Machine.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, action!
I'm the
just gonna mess up this RoboCop fellow. He's such a savage, you know.
The world of OCP is back with, new characters, Damien Lowe, and even Murphy's son, Jimmy Murphy, has grown up. James Murphy's part of the OCP hierarchy.
He was abandoned by his father and mother, I guess, upon their death, and spent his life in the OCP foster homes.
A widow is entitled to a period of mourning. Some of us had less than that. I'd hate to see you fall victim to your own weaknesses.
And cut.
Sarah's ambitious, a little conniving, and a little cold. Oh yeah, she likes relationships with all kinds of guys, but only to, it's a means to an end.
His archenemy, Sarah Cable, and him are really pretty much as on the same page in terms of intelligence, which is nice. It's more comical, really.
Damien, shut up!
OCP would like the population to believe that it's a warm and good place to live, but it's clean, it's pristine. The colors do lean more towards building materials like steel and glass and aluminum. And then on the other hand is Detroit City, which is the world of, say, the Japanese comic book, with the city is run down, it's decaying.
Here we go. And lock it up.
The color palette is entirely more or less the opposite end of the spectrum.
This is a market scene where everything is bartered, bought, and sold, okay?
RoboCable is sort of like this sleek, new, high-tech black computer terminal which functions on a more efficient level. Stores more information. Has much more kick.
Maurice is so much John Cable, it's frightening. I mean, I'm a little scared of Maurice.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
John.
After RoboCop finds out who this new cyborg is, to try and get through to him.
I need you to remember John.
He finds out that it's his ex-partner, John T. Cable.
You are a man, not a machine. You're a cop. I'm a cop. My name is Alex Murphy.
To try and to affect him on a human level, try to affect some of those ideas and values and morals that he knows that his partner had as a cop.
And camera ready, turn over. You're coming in, looking for fire, looking for target. Every day there are elements that present themselves to us, and we try to take advantage of that. The actors are able to contribute, the technicians are able to contribute. The days on this show were quite long. They asked the impossible of us, and we delivered. Boom!
One of the hardest things when you're doing shots like this is that it takes forever to set up. It looks great on the day, but you end up losing about 4 or 5 hours trying to get the effect that you want.
Ultimately, every day was chock-a-block with special effects, fire, gunfire, I mean, you name it, we've had it all on this show.
And effects one.
We want to be here. You can see where the breakaway part of the van is. Yeah.
I think I'll be able to do it from the wall. Right here. You can get up to 40 miles an hour, not quick, 40 miles an hour.
Everybody who doesn't need to be here, please back away from the set.
I'm Leslie Hope, and I play Anarchy in RoboCop. I'm the tough, kick-ass chick. I have a lot of fights and maternal rages to protect my daughter from the evil clutches of Kadic.
You're going to see more guys coming that way. Can't go back. Got to go forward. Got to go forward. You'll bring her around this way, being the sneaky bugger that you are.
So I spend most of the movie, should I say kicking ass?
I actually play tortured souls a lot, flawed heroes a lot. So this, in a way, Kadic could be a flawed hero, but unfortunately he's well, actually, you know, he's a flawed anti-hero. And Kadic is the, I suppose, in the final conflict, the nemesis of all. He is the man who is trying to upgrade the world, indeed by destroying it.
There's a new dark age coming upon Delta City.
Boom! Lighting effect. Right here, and Murphy turns into the deal. Does anybody have any questions of what I just talked about? Excellent. Let's make it happen, please. His relationship with his son in the film between Alex Murphy, the cyborg, and, you know, Jimmy Murphy, the executive, that's an incredible journey, and that relationship is the true crux for the climax.
RoboCop, his father has become, I guess, sort of an evil figure, so he's sent out to kill him.
Yeah. Who my son had become was hard for me to look at as a father.
He's your father. They didn't tell you, did they?
That's the central struggle of this character, right? To sort of deal with his father's humanity, deal with the fact that he has a father, and I guess also his own humanity, because he's been fed the corporate line for so long.
What kind of a father do you think I could have been for you?
Any kind of father would have been better than none at all.
Our cast is fantastic. One of the great things that we decided early on in the game was that we knew we were going to have the cyborg character to work with. So with that in mind, one of the things I hate is star casting. You know, you put a Sean Connery or a Rob Lowe or you name it in a lead role, well, you know they're never going to die, no matter how much jeopardy you put them in. It's always, well, he's the star, you know, he'll make it out to the end. And, you know, so as an audience member, you never really have that sense of vested interest in whether or not they're going to make it.
What are you doing?
In this, it can go anywhere. The ensemble nature of the cast allows us to really play with the audience's level of expectations. And I think there's a number of great twists in here that the audience won't guess, that are just going to knock them on their ass.
Looks great.
Does it? Oh. All the world's a stage, and I want good lighting. This is always the part that's the worst, you know, waiting. Waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting.
Ed Hobley works for OCP. He works basically in the bowels of this huge building. The main thing that he does throughout the course of this particular story is he invents and develops an artificially intelligent machine known as Saint.
Saint, what is your current operational status?
Systems currently at 41% of nominal operating range.
What happens at the end of the film, or towards the end of the film, is that the evil Kadic manages to infiltrate Saint, puts a virus inside it, and turns Saint, which was supposed to be good technology, into a weapon of mass destruction.
Mr. Hobley! I was wondering if you'd turn up. Nice work.
I think a commitment to some rather large statements. I mean, we're dealing with huge issues about basically the destruction of our planet as we know it.
I had a great time, particularly with Geraintman Davies, who plays my ex-husband. I worked with him before, and he's a good buddy of mine, so we had a good time duking it out and going through these fights together and stuff, and he's made it hugely enjoyable for me.
He's right out there. Hopefully a little charismatic, but completely insane, really. There's a religious overtone, the machine taking over God. And in order to say things like that, you have to have a commitment to what you're saying beyond your belief in it.
Destiny is upon us.
The experience of dealing with the suits was actually a lot of fun. You know, Rob Bottin, the Academy Award-winning designer, created the suits, and they had limitations, there's no question, but what we were able to do was to push the very envelope of what the suits were able to achieve.
The rule of thumb, silver gaffer tape goes on Murphy. Black gaffer tape goes on Cable. That is all. Thank you.
Again, thanks to Paige and to Maurice, not to mention our stunt doubles, Pat and Lloyd. I mean, they just upped the ante by tenfold.
3, 2, 1, go!
And it's a vicious, fast, nasty world working with the robo suits, but ultimately a fun one.
Because as soon as I put that thing on, I had absolutely no question about who I was.
To be quite fair to the guys who are handling the robo suits, and they do a fabulous job. Richie, Sean, Tony, and Jay. And these guys are lifesavers.
It just does something to my body, and I'm just cranked in there. And that's great.
Poor Paige, who's playing RoboCop, you know, is stuck in the plastic suit half the time.
At this stage now, the suit is much more comfortable to wear than it was in the beginning. There's still a great degree of discomfort after you've been in the suit for a number of hours. But, you know, I mean, if you can't do the crime, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
People that have been working with us, both, you know, here on set, our edit team, our executive financing group, everybody's been saying to a person, wow, we've never seen anything like this before. This is like Sergio Leone and John Woo making a Western on the back lot of The Crow. I mean, this is dark, dangerous, bloody. And I just smile and say, yeah, well, that's what I said I'd do.
You're not leaving this room alive.
You can never beat me.
Time to die.
Your move.
Maybe I could arrange access to the archives.
Do it.